Well, listen, so I am testing this new feature. We are the Young Black Travelers podcast. We again are about to launch our new season coming out next week. So listen, if you are watching us in YouTube land, you're watching us this podcast in YouTube land, listen, just let us know that you're watching, you're enjoying, that you have enjoyed our podcast. Um, Listen, we've had some amazing we've had some amazing conversations, sorry, over the last few years. In fact, the other day I was just laughing to myself about one of the conversations we've had, and that was the conversation with William and Jessica. William and Jessica, and we were talking about their trip to Vegas. But I'm not sure if you remember the line that I certainly would be laughing about if you've watched the podcast. So comment below. Again, we're live on YouTube. This is the first, a first, and this is also a test for young black travelers. We're live on YouTube. But comment below if you know the episode that we have been talking about, the funny episode and the line that that was said. I'm gonna give you a moment. Again, we're testing this out. I'm testing it out to see that we're live. So give me one moment while you are you're commenting below the what you know to be true about that. So the funny line that we're talking about that was on the season. I think we recorded that episode um in 2021 or 2022, and it was William and Jessica, and they went to Vegas, and Jessica um Jessica said this line. It was glory adios apprehende me. She was just really talking about her experience, and to this day, we laugh about that line because the truth is we don't know, and I need to look it up, if apprehende me is actually Spanish. But I think in the moment, in the heat of recording the podcast episode, it was just so lively, and she just said, "Glory adios apprehende me." But again, this is the fun that we have here on the YBT podcast. And just to let you know, season 12 is coming out next week. So if you haven't listened to the old episodes, I definitely recommend that you take some time and go back and just sift through all of those episodes. We've had some amazing conversations about Black lives from a UK perspective, Black lives from an American perspective. We've spoken to people in Brazil. We just had a conversation with Antonio in Brazil. In fact, we were supposed to be going to Brazil this year, but circumstances happen and we won't be going to Brazil anymore. But there's just a lot of conversations and episodes that you could glean from. And so if you don't know how to get to the Young Black Travelers podcast or to podcasts in general, what you definitely should do is download Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I'm not sure where you listen to music or you listen to podcasts, but I typically listen to podcasts over on Apple Podcasts, and so that's why I typically listen to the Young Black Travelers podcast or any podcast. And so you just go over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and again, we're starting a new season next week, so it would be nice that you actually go over there and actually start to listen through a few of our episodes. So if I'm going to scroll back, that episode, by the way, that I was just talking about was called Vegas Baby, and it was released on June 18, 2021. That was season 9. And it was actually a very fun and engaging conversation. So make sure that you go and listen to Vegas Baby um, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can definitely get that episode. But if I'm going to go back through some of my favorite episodes, I'll let you know what some of them are. So let me just I'll scroll back through and we'll talk through a few of them. Again, this is just a tester episode because we are testing this new feature, but I also think it is important to talk about the fact that we're launching a new season next week. But again, we record through Riverside. If you have any questions about that, definitely hit us up. Um, but I would say when you go back through last season, you can listen to Black Lives from a Brazilian lens. And I think that is an important conversation because I've always talked about, there are places that, the Black experience, I think, connects so much stronger. Like the Black experience globally is the Black experience. But when we talk about the US, South Africa, and Brazil, I think there's so much similarities between them, and so we have a conversation on that. Also, the conversation last season with investing as a Black traveler with the Getaway Society. Um, Again, if you haven't checked out the Getaway Society's website, I highly suggest that you go check them out. We actually stayed in one of their properties in Martha's Vineyard last May. Amazing, beautiful property. If you haven't been to Martha's Vineyard, you could definitely look up the Getaway Society, a Black owned brand, and stay at their properties. And they have properties all over the US. So definitely go check that episode out and also check out the Getaway Society's properties. Because again, that conversation pushed us to start thinking about traveling and investing. And by the way, if you're not in the YBT tribe, that's one of the new things that we're going to be exploring, not on the podcast, but within the tribe. It's a tribe on WhatsApp, and we'll put the link, by the way, on Instagram. Just go to our Instagram page, Young Black Travelers Blog. And when you look at those links, our tribe is actually listed in there. So that's one of the ways you can definitely get into our tribe. But also, and I'm gonna end it there. Baby Moon in Mauritius. That was with Osasu. Now Osasu is a mother of now two. And if you go back to that episode, she was talking about, having, I guess, taking a baby moon with her first child when she was having her first child. And so maybe that's something you would think about when you are, maybe it's your first child, second child, third child, before giving birth, thinking about going on a baby moon versus a honeymoon. So listen, again, our podcast is dropping next week, and so definitely stay tuned and look out for that. We're so grateful that you have consistently been with us and staying tuned to these episodes and conversations. They've been honestly very fruitful for me. I've loved many of them. I've learned a lot, laughed a lot. And so a new season is dropping next week. So until next week, deuces.